As a homeowner, sometimes you choose to get a second opinion. But what happens when that second opinion doesn't line up with the first? Today, we're going to find out who you can trust. Welcome to the Garage Authority Podcast, powered by A1. I'm your host, Jonithan Phillips, and today we have a very, very, very special guest, the one and only Carlos Sanchez. How's it going, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good. Now, for those of you at home, I feel like there's a disconnect sometimes because every time I bring someone on, they have an A1 uniform. And of course, because of the culture and what we've made here, they're going to agree. But recently, A1 has had a partnership with Wellborn out of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area.
That's right.
Arlington. I used to live in Grand Prairie, actually. I love it.
We're close.
Yeah, it's beautiful there. And on today's episode, I wanted to talk about, because you guys have come to the academy.
That's
We've
right.
got to train with you. And I'm really excited that you guys are here because some of the best students we've ever got were from Ideal.
Yeah.
Which Wellborn trained.
Right.
Like, Drew, Cody, all those, Gage. And then there's a couple other guys I think are down in Texas still that our guys are going to get to meet that you got to train as well. But one that's exciting because I'm having so much with like Zane and you guys, and like we can go a little bit deeper in garage doors and go into theory. So it's been really fun for me as an instructor. But the reason I wanted to bring you on today is before we mix up too much of our ideologies, I feel like there's a standard in the industry that no matter what garage door company you go to, like minimum, this is what it should be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So a little bit of background on you. So how long have you doing garage doors, and how do you actually get into garage doors? Because I feel like every one of us that gets in the industry, it's a little bit weirder or different story.
Yeah,
right?
no, definitely. So was not planning on
Nope.
being to be in garages. I went to the University of Texas at Austin, graduated. Then I started working, after I graduated, I started working with insurance sales.
Okay.
So I did that for quite a bit, but I mean, I was just stuck in a desk.
Yeah.
I was just stuck in a desk. And before going to college, my dad, he had a construction company. So that was my summer breaks.
Yeah.
I was out there just getting my hands dirty, just learning how to use tools and stuff. Did that for a while. And then once I just got tired of that, sitting on that desk, just working on that laptop, I'm like, hey, I want to get my hands dirty again. I do enjoy helping people. So I want to look for something that allows me to do that, but is also more of, like I said, hands-on.
Right.
So I started applying. I started looking at options, and at the time, the old manager at Wellborn, his name's Dylan. He interviewed me. I mean, it was awesome. I enjoyed the culture, the people, and I felt like, hey, I think I fit here.
Yeah.
So I mean, and the rest is history from there. Just started working, started learning, and I mean, 4 years later, I'm sitting here.
Yeah, dude. It's a trip. My first interview for garage doors, I found it on Craigslist. Craigslist is where, because it was after I got out of the military. I didn't plan at all. I was just ready to be out of the military and be with my now wife. And not going to say the company. It's a great company.
Yeah.
It's a franchise company. And the owner of that specific franchise, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But actually, I went to interview there, and it's in Kansas City off of Blue Parkway. And that's like a really rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then actually a stray bullet from like someone shooting straight up in the air came down through the conference room.
You're kidding.
During the interview. And then he's like, that's a good sign. You're hired. And I was just like, hey, babe, I got a job. And then now we're here. But no, it's garage doors, like you said, it's like working with your hands, but you're not trapped behind a desk. You get to drive around, meet new people from all walks of life. Like you meet from famous people. Like, a lot of our techs have met been to Nicolas Cage's house, or like John Jones, all the way to, this sweet old lady that just makes cutlery boards out of epoxy and wood in her garage. It's just like the array of people that you meet. I'm just like, this is the best. Yeah,
no, definitely. And that's another thing. Just the amount of different people that you meet, it's insane. Doctors. I met an MBA ref one time. Yeah. And that was one of the coolest experience. He was showing me just pictures and like, just his lifestyle, and just there's just so many different people.
Yeah.
And that's something that you look forward every day,
Yeah.
just because you don't know what you're going to run into that day.
Yeah.
which
No,
which
for
is
real.
exciting.
Yeah. The human connection is probably the best part of the job. But
Yeah.
getting into brass tacks on the reason why we're here today, I wanted to ask you about 5 different questions
Mhm.
of just general garage door things. Got some not really technical too much, because technical is technical. There's a
Yeah.
different way that you can install a door or an operator, but
Yep.
the performance of it is pretty much the
The
same,
same.
right? So when you show up to a home, what are the first things you're checking before you even touch a door?
So before before I even knock on the door,
Mhm.
to talk to the customer, this is before I even meet them. Is just do just a quick pass by the door, just to kind of get a feel
Mhm.
of what it looks like. If it's damaged, if you can tell if a door is older,
Mhm.
or if it's just brand new, and that's more on the door side. But more importantly, is just looking for stuff. All customers are different, so I can see sports flags. You
Mhm.
can see a veteran flag,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Sometimes you see like "Welcome Back Home," little Tommy with the
Right.
graduation cap, so stuff like that. Because before I even, like I said, talk to the client, to a customer, is I want to be relatable to
Right.
them, to have something to talk about.
Right.
So that's something that I think it's very important, because we want to relate. We want to relate to them, so we can have a conversation, just about pretty much anything. Or if sometimes it's very limited, so you could talk about anything. The Super Bowl.
Mhm.
It would, I mean, back in Dallas, we just had a freeze. So talk about that.
Mhm.
How's the weather? It hasn't rained in a while. So
Right.
those are things that I look for, just before coming into the customer's home.
Right. That was one of the biggest things, because whenever I first got into garage doors, it's like, okay, here's a problem,
Yeah.
and here's how you fix it, and
Right.
that's it. And I think I had some clients of that personality type that were happy with the work I've done,
Yeah.
but I didn't get like Google reviews. I didn't get return calls, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I fixed the door, I fixed what they asked me, and I dip. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. And then a mentor of mine was explaining the art of service, and I was like, well, I don't want to realize that, oh, it's like a retired Marine. And they're like, why wouldn't you want to? And I was like, I don't, like, what's the point? They're like, well, you're going to go in there and you're going to fix the problem. But if you don't actually get to know the
Yeah.
person at all, like, how can you? They're not going to be open enough to tell you what they want exactly. And not to mention, you're coming into their home,
Right.
right? You are in a position of service at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Forget the money, forget the company you work for. You are a person going into someone's castle.
Yeah.
So to make them feel comfortable and to make sure that you have a relationship to where you can say, this is what you have now,
Mhm.
this is what I can do, these are any problems you're going to have in your future.
Yeah.
That's going to need a little bit of maintenance and build up
Build
that,
trust.
yeah, build trust. You know what I mean? Because I always I thought of it like, oh, that just sounds like a salesy thing,
Yeah.
and they're like, no, okay,
Yeah.
if they're happy, we here at A1, we would rather you have 2 hours of conversation and just do a tune up and that client be happy
Yeah.
than sell. I mean, I've seen doors get up to like $40,000, like
Yeah.
patina metal. If you spent 5 minutes and they spent that much money, but they're not happy, we don't want that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just the fact that your company is like, no, it's the relationship.
Yeah, and what I really like about Wellborn is, we had Wednesday morning meetings, and one of the biggest things, one of the most important things, is, yeah, of course, like the tech side, how the system works, everything, but just meeting, getting to know that person, getting to know them, more on a closer level, because then once you build that trust, you can be confident to let them know, hey, this is how we fix the issue. This
Right.
is the solution. This is what you need. It's yes, we can do a band-aid, but it's not going to help.
Yeah. And
We're just prolonging the issue.
yeah, there's a lot of things that I used to do. And as I built a relationship with clients, it kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit more,
Yeah.
to where it's like, uh, I know you want me to do this, but you're going to be unhappy with me
Yeah.
a few months down the road, a year down the road, when
Yeah.
really, like, this is where like next time you see me at Whole Foods, like 2 years from now, there's still going to be a smile on your face. That's my goal today.
No, of course. Yep.
So moving on, what's something homeowners usually, more of a technical question, what's something homeowners usually think is just noise or normal wear that's actually like a big warning sign?
I think there's different noises. I think my personal experience, one of the biggest things is and I've had these calls before where the homeowner is saying that there's a popping noise, and it's just getting a little bit worse and worse, or just louder every time. And the reason for that is the door starts warping whenever it starts coming down, and when the opener wants to push it back down, it pops back. It pops back, and homeowners don't realize that it's just a massive crack through the center of the door, and there's just going to come a point where it's not going to pop back up, and that thing's going to calm down, just start falling down. So I think that's the biggest thing. I'm a firm believer. I've seen the door
Yeah.
on the floor on top of a vehicle, so I know it happens. But more. Another one that I do think it's very important also because of safety. Of course, the first one is a huge safety concern as well, but is when bottom fixtures are rubbing on the track,
Ooh,
and
that's a big
especially on those wood doors, heavier doors.
Yeah.
Whenever that starts happening, that cable, I mean, that's pulling that door. I
Right.
mean, and we have 400, 500, 600 pound doors, and they're heavy.
Yeah.
People don't realize how heavy they are. And when there's just so much rubbing, it's just eating away at that bottom fixture. And again, I have seen where that cable just pulls that off.
Right.
And if nothing is holding that door
Right.
in the up position or on its way up or down, and that thing breaks, yeah, it's a huge safety concern.
Yeah, 400-600 pounds,
Yeah.
7 or 8 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Anything below that's not going to have a good time.
No.
Hopefully that's not a person, and hopefully your
Yeah.
car doesn't have like a very expensive blanket
Yeah.
on top of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's also why maintenance, like we have our membership program
Of course.
where it's big. It's once a year. Doors like that, like
Yeah.
we're more of a twice a year people, especially out in Phoenix because
The
the
heat.
sun. And then people don't like finish the wood doors, and
Yeah.
you know wood doors, they like change weight and
Yep.
stuff throughout the year, especially if you get snow drifts or like if you get all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
That's whenever you probably need that double maintenance, just to make sure everything's aligned, make sure that bottom bracket isn't rubbing, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Huge.
So if a customer only remembers one thing about their garage door, what should it be?
One thing. I think this ties a little bit to the previous question, just because and I do tell homeowners this all the time, is your door is the biggest moving system, a machinery object, moving object in the home.
Yeah.
So because it is so heavy and it is constantly moving, people use it as front doors,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 10 times a day. So we want to make sure that that door is in excellent conditions.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that the hardware is in excellent conditions. Make sure that springs are doing all of the lifting. We're not overworking a motor. I know it's just so many different things, but get the door maintenance.
Yeah. Maintenance
Once,
is the biggest
and like
thing.
you just said, yeah, on those wood heavier doors, yes, of course, more than once a year. Before regular standard metal doors once a year, I think that's good enough. But yeah, it's the biggest moving piece. Please get it maintenance. Unfortunately, most of us homeowners, we get somebody in the house when something already broke.
Right.
And it's more expensive. It's more work. It's more of an inconvenience. You're late to work. You can't take kids to school. Your car's trapped. So there's not a good time for something to go bad.
Yeah, I mean,
So
not that it's exactly the same, but I mean, it's like not getting the oil changed in your car.
exactly, yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Then whenever the car breaks down is when it's on the highway in the middle
It
of traffic.
doesn't break down at the house.
No, it doesn't. And that's the thing. Garage doors break when you're trying to come home after a long day,
Right.
or you were trying to leave to go to wherever is important
Yeah.
for you in your life. You know,
Yeah.
I'd say the only time is maybe you didn't want to go to your in-laws' house. And it's just like, oh, sorry, garage door broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily, I have pretty cool in-laws, so I would be kind of devastated. They're
Yeah.
really nice people.
Hey,
But
that makes two of us.
yeah, it's a blessing to
I
have
have met
in-laws.
people though.
Yeah, they're essentially mom and dad
Yeah.
as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got second parents, so very, very blessed. Now, another thing about Wellborn, and I mean, I'm one guy. I've
Yeah.
only been doing this 10 years, all right? There's still way more to learn. There's still other companies out there that do fantastic, but Wellborn is probably no, for sure, the best trained technicians that I've seen outside of A1 and totality.
That's awesome.
Like, well, we do Garage Door Freedom, and
Yeah.
technicians come from all over the country. And don't get me wrong, they're good.
Yeah.
But usually that guy's good because he's been doing this 10, 15,
Yeah.
20 years. But I see guys from Wellborn that have been doing this 2 years. And I'm like, how long have you been doing this? They're like, 2 years. And I'm like, oh, you seem like you've been doing this 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are good. So what separates well garage door technicians from someone who just learned how to install parts?
Well, I think there's a lot of things, but the most important ones is we want to make sure that the homeowner is well educated. I think that's
Okay.
one of the biggest things, just because we want to make sure that the homeowner knows how it works. And
Right.
if something is not working the way that it's supposed to, they kind of at least have an idea of, okay, this is what's going on.
Right.
Before something worse happens,
Hmm.
right? So, and another thing is, and I'm learning this about A1 as well, which I really love, is we were taught that we don't want the homeowner to be calling us for something that went bad every 6 months, every
Yeah.
month. We have gone to homes where just other companies have just gone in there, put a Band-Aid, and which I think it's lying whenever another technician tells a homeowner, hey, let me save you some money. Don't get the extra spring. Don't get the extra vertical track. Don't do high cycle rollers. But it hurts them in the long run.
Yeah.
It hurts them in the long run. So I think a well-trained technician should educate the homeowner, give them options, and let them decide. Let them decide on what they want to do, but they are aware of what the options are. I think that's very important. And another thing is build that trust. Build
Yeah.
that trust with that homeowner to where they have the confidence of asking, hey, what's going on, or what should I do in this scenario?
Right.
So I think that's really important, because like I said, we've gone back to homes where it's like, oh, I have a broken spring, but it's a 3-spring system and they only replaced 1.
Right.
We're very against that.
Yeah. I mean, if that one broke,
Yeah.
what do you think the other
Yeah,
2,
they
3,
were
4 are
installed
gonna
at the
do?
same time. They go up and down the exact same amount of time. So if this one broke, he's gonna be back next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's huge.
I think that was the biggest change in me, is the way I serve people. Is, I definitely was the guy, and I've been there. Let's take operators, for
Yeah.
example. You got an old AC motor. I mean, there's capacitors, there's wiring harnesses, there's hardwired travel modules,
Yeah.
force limits that are at
Force.
the back, gear and sprockets, belts, chains, all these things. And, I would go and I'd be like, yeah, that's done. And, we could do a new motor. And they're like, can't you just fix that one? And then there was an ego and a pride in me to be like, well, yeah, I can fix anything.
I can do it.
And then I fix it. But what I wasn't considering is take a gear and sprocket on a 20-year-old motor. Is, you open it up, the dust on the inside looks like a snow globe. And I replace it and get the, door working. The client's like, hey, thanks, man. You saved me a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? This is like my first couple years. And then, but they call me out 6 months later because a wire broke in the travel module. And then a few months later, a capacitor. And then a few months later, a RPM switch.
Yeah.
And a few months later, it got fried. So I've replaced a wiring harness. There was a time I actually took a motor out, like the motor itself, and went and got it repacked for a client.
Oh.
Now, the reason is because he installed that motor with his grandfather when he was a kid.
So there was like emotional.
There was an emotional.
Yeah.
So that one was okay. He actually paid $3,000 in 2016 to get that done. which was way more expensive than any motor. You know, people are going to buy what they buy.
Yeah.
But to what I was saying before is like, I was like, oh, I'm doing you a service by saving you money. Well, there's labor and there's waiting for a part. And like those 7 or 8 different things, those all happened in a year. And we were at more cost than just a new motor. And they're mad at me whenever I was just doing what they kept giving me kudos for saving them money. So that's when I kind of flipped it to where I'm just like, I've replaced the capacitor and that motor's worked for another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
However, I've replaced a gear and sprocket or a capacitor, and I've had a client mad 6 months later when a different component failed. So it's just like, I'm just going to do what I know works 100% of the time. And when clients, if they look at me and they're like, hey, like, no, I want the gear and sprocket. Okay.
Yeah.
However, you have to promise that you're not going to get mad at me or the next technician that comes out. If I can get that in writing that you understand, cool. I'll come back out 6 more times this year.
Yeah.
No problem. But I much rather do the thing that's 100% guaranteed instead of that Band-Aid fix.
Yeah.
So as long as we're explaining that to clients, which I feel like we're in the same boat whenever 100%. It comes to that.
Yeah.
Now, probably one of the most important questions. What is the most important question? A homeowner should feel comfortable asking a garage door technician.
I feel like this question, it can be a little open, just because, and again, that ties up just a little bit to the previous question, is if a well-trained technician built enough trust, enough confidence with that homeowner, I don't think that there's one specific question.
Right.
I really believe that they should be able to ask you anything.
Yeah.
I think there's not one real important question. I mean, the customer should be able to tell you, hey, I mean, there's just so many questions. How long is it going to last? Like, what do you recommend? When should I get this maintenance? I mean, there's just so much. But I really do believe that trust is so important that, I mean, they can ask you anything. I mean, we're people.
Yeah.
We're people. I mean, we're homeowners. We've had the same issues at our house before. So I think really any question can be a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, just like we're learning here is, I mean, there's not a bad question. I mean, we're learning. I've been doing this for, like I said earlier, for 4 years now, and I'm still learning. Yeah. And there's new stuff coming out. New LiftMaster openers came out. New stuff comes out. So I mean, you can ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of just ask.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I don't think homeowners are dumb.
No.
They're not.
No.
They're not at all. I would say it's the response that a technician gives you whenever they don't know the answer. That humbleness that you just gave, being like, I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
If a technician can tell you that, that's a good guy or woman.
Yeah.
If a technician is BSing you and you can tell.
Oh, they'll just make something up.
They'll just make something up. And if it doesn't sit, trust your gut.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sit right in your gut and they keep dancing around it, move on to the next company.
Yeah. And I will say the homeowner will appreciate just, I don't know. Let me get that answer for you. Let me call somebody. A lot more than,
the centrifugal force, Mercury in retrograde. That's why you're spring like something crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, that's enough of that. We're gonna call somebody else. But dude, I'm super excited. I still got a couple more weeks with you guys. I'm really excited to learn from you guys.
Here.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you, and I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh,
dude.
thank you for having me,
my brother.
Alrighty.